Have you noticed how your teen feels more anxious, bad mood, or even shutting down after scrolling their phone forever, feels like? But here's the deal. It's not just the content that they're consuming. It is actually what constant scrolling is doing to their nervous system. And that hidden effect could be actually making their FND symptoms much worse than we think, even when nothing stressful, quote unquote, is happening. Social media literally keeps the brain in this constant alert state, even if what they're watching seems harmless. Every fast cut, ping, and notification gives the brain microdoses of adrenaline and dopamine, and those feeling good and paying attention chemicals. So over time, what happens is the brain learns always be ready for the next thing. Over time, unfortunately, this becomes a habit. Therefore, teens start needing those little chemical hits just to feel normal, so they stay glued to the screen to get that constant feedback. But here is a deeper issue. For teens with FND in particular, who already have a dysregulated nervous system, that constant stimulation coming from the little screen or any device for that matter in the social media pushes the brain literally to live in this permanent state of this alert or even on a frozen state. So what looks like zoning out while scrolling, this happens to adults too, by the way, is often the brain's way of saying, I'm overwhelmed and I am shutting down. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what that social media does to teens with FND and what you can do about it, because there is a way. So let's dive in. For teens with FND, the brain is literally hypersensitive to signals from the body, and each scroll, flicker, and ping activates this threat response system, whether they like it or not, and training literally the brain to stay on, right? So at first, this nervous system is basically tense and watchful because they are literally on, but then when it can't keep up, something needs to happen. So what happens is it flips into this numbness, which is the opposite of fight or flight or on. It turns into off or frozen mode, which feels calm on the outside, but really chaotic on the inside. And this is why you can see symptoms flare up of FND while your teen looks completely relaxed. And this also happens when kids are just watching TV or a game with family members and they feel like they're literally relaxing, or it could be they're just lying, but what's happening is their nervous system thinks that the game, like literally speaking, in their mind is completely on. So many teens will say something like, I'm just relaxing on my phone, or this is the only time I feel like I am chill, or I just came back from school and I'm really tired, so I need to take a break, or I am on the phone with my friends and then this is the only time I can chat and connect with my friends, or any of those things, right? And I'm not saying they're excuses, and legitimately that's what they're thinking, and therefore that's what they're saying. But neurologically, inside their body, what's happening is their brain is not resting at all. It's being hit with these fast moving images, sounds, and words, and each demanding micro decision like scroll, skip, respond. And when that brain jumps between apps or videos, it's like sprinting mentally while sitting still physically. And even if your child is saying, well, I am watching the comedy, or I am watching this relaxing video or whatever, it essentially does not matter, because what's happening inside and neurologically is what matters here. So the nervous system never truly powers down when the teens are on the social media and on the phone, right? And eventually what goes up, as I mentioned, must come down. So you can't just run on high and on and fight or flight all the time. It needs to come down at some point. And that is when the frozen, numb state takes over. So here's the deal. They're not lazy or avoiding. They're just stuck in this autopilot. And it happens a lot essentially with or without FND. But with particularly teens with FND, this happens more prominently because these repetitive behaviors create a habit that becomes part of them. So that's why they look like a zombie and just scrolling down, and then they don't even remember what they're actually scrolling down on or getting really engaged. But it doesn't matter because they are constantly hit with that micro doses of all kinds of chemicals in their body and the brain. So here's the deal. Have you noticed your teen seems more tired, foggy, or tense after being on their phone? I see this pattern with so many families. So let me know in the comment if that is what you're seeing in your teen. So let's talk about social media for a little bit. Social media also activates not just the brain stimulation, but brain's evaluation system, like, am I doing enough? Do I look okay? And then what can I be, or why can I be like them? So it's kind of like this, how come I'm the only one who is different, or something like that, right? Or what is it called? Look maxing, right? Like you need to look like a certain type, and so they are constantly evaluating themselves from others. And for an FND, brain already struggling to regulate internal signals, and that comparison adds another layer of pressure, unfortunately. And so attention gets really hijacked from them, and the brain energy drains much faster than anybody on the planet, and retraining becomes much harder. So many teens describe this constant brain fog, not realizing their energy is actually being siphoned by these tiny repetitive decisions and self-evaluations. I had a teen who is in my program who was actually using her phone and screen devices of just scrolling down something or just watching something for like more than 10 hours every single day, because she was thinking that was the only way she could quote unquote distract herself from having these episodes. But what's really happening is creating this new, more concerning, repetitive habit, right? That became part of who she was and she is. So it took her a while to undo that. But that is not just the end of it. You might have heard of this wave of FND-like symptoms showing up on TikTok. It's actually called TikTok Tics, and then it sparked a lot of debate. And this happened in the beginning of the pandemic. So in 2021, 2022, that kind of thing. But let's make sure this one thing is clear. The teens are not faking. They are actually mirroring what their nervous system recognizes as real. So what does that mean? Our brain actually have this thing called mirror neurons. All of us do, and they're all over the brain. These are actually the special cells that help us imitate and empathize and then be closer in a social bond. So let's just say that if you're seeing somebody who is crying right next to you, then you feel like, oh, concerned, like, oh, what happened? Oh, I hope they're okay, that kind of thing. So basically what's happening is that you're activating these mirror neurons automatically and then having the ability to connect with that person. When someone with a sensitive nervous system repeatedly see these tics, movements, or speech changes online, like on TikTok, then those mirror neurons can trigger similar patterns in their body. This is literally proven already because functional MRI or fMRI studies even show that people with FND have this overreactive mirror neuron system, which makes them more sensitive to what they're observing. So yes, social media can influence FND symptoms, but not because it causes them. It's literally because the brain learns by imitation, by looking, by observing, especially when it's already on this high alert or in this frozen mode. I just want to be clear that not everyone who has FND is because they watch TikTok. I have had plenty of teens who never even watch or even don't have a TikTok account, and so parents are furious. Well, my child doesn't even have a TikTok account, and what are you saying that this is coming from TikTok or watching TikTok? So just to be clear, it's a subset of teens who develop this very complex, sudden vocal or motor tic-like symptoms after watching or consuming TikTok. And I'm not saying every single individual who has FND is from TikTok, okay? Just to be clear on that one. So here's the deal. Social media is not the enemy itself, believe it or not. I mean, there's so many things that can be bad, right? But there's so many things that can be helpful. But it can definitely and quietly drain the nervous system energy out of your child. So here is what actually helps. This is what parents can do. Number one, lead by example. Kids do what you do, not what you say. So your habits set the tone at home environment. And so you can also model calm digital behavior without over-consuming, for example, which leads to number two, create screen-free recovery windows. Maybe this is something that you can do as a family, especially in the morning and or before bedtime. So start small. Consistency matters more than perfection, right? So start small and pick a time that you are going to have a no screen time for the entire family, for example. Step three is replacing this scrolling behavior with regulation activities. And maybe this is something that all of you can do at the same time, creating this family culture and family habit. Things like a gentle movement, breathing, stretching, or short walks as a family. And step 4, avoid using screen as emotional regulation tools. So if you notice that you're also scrolling on the phone, and you can even check your phone how long you've been using your phone, right? And then again, it goes back to Levi example. So you can have something like watch something to calm down as a family, or you can say, let's take a short break together, something like that. You're minimizing your own screen time by modeling, and you can also suggest do something else. And these small changes literally start to retrain the brain towards recovery, not digital numbing, because these are two different things. Now, if this helped you see things differently, then I suggest that you watch this next video over here somewhere. And social media, again, is not the enemy, but for a brain stuck in FND, it can become a constant drip of energy drain. So if your teen is struggling with FND and brain fog, then this might be where you can tackle first. And once your family understand the connection between social media, the nervous system, and FND, then they can start building these habits that actually help the brain finally feel calm and safe again. Because when true safety returns, recovery begins. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.